Grand Rising Kings, Queens, Gods, Goddesses, multi-exclusive dimensional being kind with another exclusive. Today's video is going to be about where all viruses and all diseases started. Because, of course, we need to get to the root cause of why these events take place. And we need to get to the root cause of why these things are repeatedly happening. Because one thing, first and foremost, if we allow this shit to keep happening, it's going to keep ruining lives. It's going to keep basically controlling lives. It's going to basically keep doing things that people are not comfortable with doing. And of course, your mind creates your reality. So of course, they're going to create the scripts. They're going to create the genres. They're going to create the titles. And of course, they're going to present this and put this out here for the world to see. And when the world reacts and responds, the world will be the actors. Now, if you acting out in these energies, what you're doing is spiritually, you're giving these people power so they can be able to create resources and create circumstances and situations where they can allow and dictate how your life will present itself and play out in life. And of course, this is why it's important to basically know the root cause of why these diseases starts. Everything is dealing with the planets. Everything is dealing with the astrology. Everything is dealing with the stars and shit like that. So of course, this is a routine pattern that basically happens on a day-to-day basis. So like, once you know what you're getting yourself into, you will know later down the line that these circumstances and situations won't affect you or won't put you in a vulnerability state. Hold up. And once you get down to the root cause of what's going on, you won't put yourself in a circumstance situation of allowing these things to basically take place in your life, and you will know what to do down the line. And of course, you will know how to prevent these things from happening or harming you. This way you won't get rocked to sleep by what the doctors is telling you. And this way they won't kill you or take you out your vessel. Now see, it's very important to know what planets you have in Saturn, Pluto, Mercury, or everything in general too, because this plays out on all planets. But of course, if you have certain alignments and certain planets that can play out in tremendous ways where it can harm you, this is where you need to basically take into consideration and not allow these doctors or anyone to inject shit in you. Because what's going to happen is they're going to put you in a circumstance situation of compromising your immune system, making you weaker. And then later down the line, there's going to be more experiences of new symptoms, new circumstances and situations. And this is what you don't want to allow them to basically get into. Because once you allow them to get too deep into you, you start to become a spiritual experiment. You start to become a vibrational experiment, and you start to become an energetic experiment, almost to the point you're a human experiment. And you do not need to be a lab rat. This is the experiments that they basically are presenting on you. And of course, this is how they make money. This is how they stay in business. And of course, it's the whole purpose of pharmaceutical, which is pharma, which means they are pseudo. That means they are not real. They shit is fake. They shit is not gonna basically heal you. It's just gonna hide symptoms and create events down the line on timeline events that's gonna create more circumstances and situations to put you in a box, they square. And this is how they trap people. And of course, this is how these doctors still stay in offices and shit. See, it's one thing where they can create all these vaccines to inject you with, but of course, when it comes down to selling weed, and of course sticking with natural remedies and shit, it's a problem, and they gotta kill you. Like, shout out to my man Dr. CB. For me, for instance, he's a prime example. As you can see, he healed many people from the experiences and the witnesses. Now, they wasn't with that shit because they said he didn't have a license. Now, take into consideration when you got Bill Gates about to inject you with all these vaccines due to this weak-ass, fake-ass, invisible virus that they're talking about. So that's another thing to take into consideration. Now, we're about to start it off. Now, if you have the common cold, now this is common because it's a whole purpose. There's a thing of body temperature being high and body temperatures being low. So if you know for a fact if the sun is too high, then it's very likely, highly, for you not to be able to actually get sick. Now, if the sun was down here, now the sun is not all the way down here to your feet. So that means your feet areas and your lower hemispheres and body spectrums are at a higher risk of getting sick because the sun is not shining down there. The sun is like the solar plexus. The sun is like pretty much in this area. So the lower it goes, That's when the temperatures and the degrees start to lower down. That's when it start to get cold. That's when it start to become winter. That's when it start to become fall. And these are the seasons where your body temperature start to experience new hemispheres and new atmospheres and shit. This is the whole purpose of having a common cold. This is the whole purpose of getting sick. This is the whole purpose of your body is doing what it needs to be doing, as in your immune system, to fight off these sicknesses, to fight off these diseases and shit like that. Well, we ain't gonna say diseases. Diseases is like a whole nother thing. Viruses and common colds will basically be dealing with temperature differences. So if they tell you, oh, you need a flu shot for this shit, just slap them in the face. All you need to do is go get you some tea, put it on the stove, drink it up, and keep your body warm. This way you can sweat out the temperatures that don't belong in your body, and your body can get back to its natural remedy as far as warm. And when you allow these doctors to rock you in their head and say you need a flu shot, you allowing them to put allergies, you allow them to put venom, you allow them to put animal blood and all these other mixtures of diseases and viruses in your body, to almost to the point now you got a pink eye and you got arthritis in your brain. It's just like the underlying health issues go down the drain. But we about to run this down real fast because I don't really have too much time with this video. But it's so much to cover with this video, so we're gonna run these things down. Now, if you got Mercury in Gemini, if you got Mercury in Taurus, or if you got your Sun in Gemini or Taurus, you are likely to get sick. If you got your Sun squaring or opposing these positions in your natal chart, these are the likely chances for you to get sick, because that plays out with Gemini. That's with the throat. That's with the with those areas. Taurus is with the smell and the nostrils and shit. So of course these are areas that are sensitive. So now you got if you got a Virgo, you can also pick this up due to Burrian and shit like that. If you got motherfucking Scorpio here, you're likely to get it because that's the fall. That's when the sun falls down. If you got Sagittarius here, you're pretty much likely to also get it too, because that's also playing with the fall area. Now, if you got if this is opposing these positions, this is where you can likely to actually pick up and receive these things. Now, if you got like quick colds and shit, would basically be with Sun in Leo or Sun in Virgo, because that's still a time where like summer is still intermixing and shit like that. So you won't have to worry about that shit. Now, if you got what's this? If you got the 12th house in Taurus or Gemini, you're likely to basically be sensitive to these sicknesses and recover very fast. If you got Pluto and Aries, you will have like head issues and shit like that, or mental issues and shit like that. If you got Pluto and Taurus, you would know that's opposite. So you're always gonna get hit with opposite energies, whether it's dealing with thyroid issues and throat issues. If you got Pluto and Cancer, this is skin disease. So this what happened is with the skin disease. This is like a skin plague. So back then in World War I, this is like skin disease or skin cancers. That's how it developed. Jupiter was the reason and the cause for it to expand. If you got Pluto and Gemini, you're likely to have lung cancer or issues with your throat and shit. If you have Pluto and Leo, you're likely to have heart issues or heart problems or heart failure or basically heart disease and shit like that. Because Leo is dealing with the heart and the blood, and that's dealing with the spectrum. If you got Pluto and Virgo, you're most likely to have stomach issues or stomach pain and shit. If you allow the doctors to basically, treat you like a lab rat, you will experience these pains. If you got Pluto and you will have stomach cancer or stomach problems if you got Pluto and Virgo. If you got Pluto and Libra, you're likely to have pancreas cancer, because this is dealing with like the lower area where you've been down shit, have balance and shit. So all Libras, if you have Pluto and Libra, you're going to experience these shit, because this is also your opposite sign. Now, boom, if you got Pluto and Scorpio, this is where HIV and AIDS started to present itself, somewhere around 1984 to 1995. So if you got Pluto and Scorpio in your charts, or if you got Pluto in the 8th house or the 12th house, you're most likely to receive HIV or AIDS. So be careful. Do not go to the doctor. So if you have dick problems and shit, if you was fucking the shit out of some girl, what you need to do, you need to basically, we're going to get to that though. What you need to do, you need to detox. You don't need to go to no doctor to basically, because they're gonna check your charts. They're gonna figure out what time, what date you was born, and be like, oh shit, take this medicine. Boom. Next thing you know, you got HIV/AIDS. You diagnosed with this shit. So just know that all the vaccines, all the diseases are created in the lab from scientists, and they're given to the hospitals to basically present itself. That's why if spell hospital got 8 words. So 8 words is basically dealing with 8. So 8 is dealing with time, illusions, behind the scenes, manipulation, and control. So just know that. We ain't gonna get too far into that. Now, if you got Pluto and Sagittarius, yeah, you might have eyesight issues, or you might see some black shit that's moving around your eyes or some shit. Or if you might have eyesight issues and shit like that, or eye disease. That's only if you have Pluto and Sagittarius. If you got Pluto and Capricorn, that would be like the coronavirus, because Capricorn represents status, structure, physical representations, and also this is cardinal Earth. So of course they talking about coronavirus can be on the air, coronavirus can be on the surface, coronavirus can be on your clothes, and of course all the viruses and the diseases that they created, they're gonna accumulate it and utilize it for underlying health issues to say, oh, you got this, you got that. So this is how they working with that shit. So when Pluto goes into Aquarius, I think that might be the revolution. They might be having y'all wear hazmat suits, and when Pluto go in Pisces, that's where shit is going to play out into your dreams and shit like that. Illusions and fantasies and shit. And when you might start seeing ghosts and shit like that. When Neptune goes into Aries, you're going to start to see the revolution and shit like that. But of course, you realize that Pluto and Saturn are like, Pluto is like the main characteristic. So when Pluto starts to go into these planets, and once we get to the last decon, they're going to present another vaccine, another disease, a virus to kill you off and get rid of you. Now, when we got let's run down this shit real fast. Now, if you got head issues or brain issues and shit, you need a ruby or yellow sapphire, or you need an emerald or a red coral around your neck, or you can put it around you, or get a crayon and color on it. If you got pain in your throat or throat issues or chakra issues, you need a red coral gemstone or crystal. Now, if you got bronchitis, all you need is a red coral crystal. You will program this. Red represents passion, desire, motivation. It helps you get up off your ass. If you lazy in bed and can't move and shit. If you got if you got cancer, skin cancer or heart cancer or anything of cancers like that, you need a blue sapphire. Put it on your middle finger and get the red coral. Put that shit on your ring finger. If you got sunstroke, or if you too sensitive to the sun, you need a yellow sapphire, and you need to get a white pearl or red coral, because this is basically going to balance it out. Yellow represents happiness. If you got insomnia, you can't sleep at night, you need to get what's causing it is Mercury, the moon, and Jupiter. So what you need to do, you need to get an emerald, or you need to get a moonstone, and you need to get a yellow sapphire. Now, if you got what's this? If you have miscarriage, or if you have issues of not being able to have a child, you need Mars is creating this shit. So you need to get a red coral, and you need to get a emerald, and you'll be alright. If you got sex problems, you can't get it hard, your pussy can't get wet, you need to get you a what's causing it is Moon and Saturn cause limitations and restrictions. You need to get a white pearl with 12 carats and put that on your ring finger. If you got if you're paralyzed in your body and shit, if you got arthritis and shit, you need to get a red coral or an emerald, or get a moonstone, or get a yellow sapphire or a red coral. If you got if you got jaundice, like that yellow shit in your eyes and shit, and your eyes is yellow and shit, what's causing it is Saturn and Mars. You need to get a you need to get a red coral, and you need to get a blue sapphire. Blue represents communication, and of course that's gonna present itself utilizing your intellect to clear all that shit out. If you got a motherfucking asthma, you need to get an emerald, a yellowstone, and a sapphire. Last but not least, if your kid or your child got issues and shit, like diabetes, diarrhea, allergies, food poisoning, all that shit, you need to get a moonstone. And of course, put that around their neck. Make sure it's like a 1 carat or something. Put it around their neck, program it, and of course, this is gonna release them and basically get them back on track and shit, real shit.